sixth time ever, the World Health Organization has declared a global health emergency. We have all you need to know about the coronavirus.
And when the weather outside is frightful, the Science Center is joining us to get some ideas how to keep kids occupied inside, which, as we know, is delightful. Also, Will Ewick has the latest and greatest in tattooing technology. It doesn't seem like things should have changed over time so much.
And the Streetsboro police go big time. We have the video of a harrowing rescue that played out nationally. What's new starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New with Betsy Kling and Jay Crawford.
And hello again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us with Betsy Kling. I'm Jay Crawford. Here's what's new at 5 o'clock.
We start with breaking news. There is now a local connection to the first case of coronavirus spread from one person to another here in the U.S. So that means a Cleveland connection.
Betsy, there is a tie. The Chicago woman who we reported on several days ago that contracted the virus during a recent trip to Wuhan, China, has transmitted the virus to her husband. And 3 News has learned exclusively her husband has recently traveled to Cleveland. Now, Illinois health officials held a news conference. This happened just after 2 o'clock today. The very first question was asking the officials to confirm a report that the latest patient may have indeed traveled to Cleveland. Listen carefully to the response. She avoids giving a specific answer.
Was he put in isolation? And can you confirm if he took a flight to Cleveland as recently as this week? Has he been going to work?
So I can confirm that the patient was placed into isolation on the day that he developed symptoms, in line with CDC guidance.
When was that?
That was 2 days ago.
Okay, that was somewhat troubling because it was a very direct question. Can you confirm that the recent patient traveled to Cleveland? And she was it actually came up another time. Can you tell us about his travel? And she said, I can tell you he hasn't been on the L train. Yeah. So again, she didn't specifically answer the question. And as I mentioned, we have learned exclusively from several sources that he did indeed travel to Cleveland. Monica Robbins now, our senior medical correspondent, joins us now. What can you tell us? What do we know?
Well, let me first address, we have to clarify that we do not know or have reason to believe that he was symptomatic during his time in Cleveland or if he spread the virus here. We are working to gather a lot more information on this developing story. We have reached out to a number of our health departments. So far, we have not heard back from them, but they do know the information that we have, and we're hoping to have that information at least by 6 o'clock.
Okay, somewhat troubling that this information wouldn't have been shared by the Illinois authorities, particularly because they were specifically asked about a Cleveland tie. One of the things I want to point out now is that the World Health Organization met today to debate whether or not to raise the level of concern to a global health concern, a global health crisis.
Right.
After twice debating this last week and deciding it didn't meet that criterion, today they said, in fact, it does. It is now, for the 6th time only, a global health emergency. I want to know specifically from you, Monica, what we've been able to learn about the protocol when it comes to state-to-state travel and how states that know they have an infected patient communicate to other states that may indeed be exposed.
So typically what's going to happen is when the CDC would contact our Ohio Department of Health, in this particular case, then the Ohio Department of Health would contact, if this is true, the Cleveland Health Department. The health department would then get in touch with every individual who may have had contact with this individual and take care of them. There is protocol in place. Our emergency response teams and our health agencies have already been in touch. They have a coordinated response effort already in place. They have done that since we had the Ebola scare a few years ago. So they've already been on the phone with each other for the last several days talking about this. So yes, there is a system in place ready to deal with this. And the reason that this is now, the WHO has declared a global emergency, this isn't something that they have the law over. This is something that, you know, in the last decade, we saw this with Ebola and Zika and swine flu. The reason is because this this has now spread to 22 other countries.
Wow.
And this now gives governments the decision to decide what they want to do within and outside of their own borders. They can decide whether or not they want to allow planes to come in. They can decide how they want to protect their own citizens.
All right, very
That's
good.
what that's for.
All right, we're continuing to follow all the details of this story. I would imagine the next step would be local authorities, if indeed this is true, calling some sort of a news conference to let Cleveland know exactly what has gone on.
Yeah, and this individual had visited here. This individual is not from Cleveland. This
All right.
individual went back to Chicago.
Very good. One last point I want to make here. Wuhan, China has a population of 11 million people. So imagine New York City with no cars on the roads,
Shut
no
down.
people on the sidewalks, completely shut down. Everyone in Wuhan has been ordered to shelter in place.
And if you're going to shut down a virus, that's the way to do it.
That is the best way. Monica, thanks.
Sure.
We'll see you soon.
Okay.
Right now, let's get a check on what else is making headlines this hour. And for that, Sarah Schuckman has made her way to the news desk. Hello, Sarah.
Hi, guys. Definitely a busy day in the newsroom. Let's start with some good news. After a rash of violent attacks at gas stations and discount stores in Geauga County, the Sheriff's Department says they've got the guy responsible. 32-year-old David Johnson was arrested in Euclid, and deputies say he had robbed at least 7 businesses in Lake and Geauga counties. Now, with witness help, they were able to track down his car and then match his clothes to those seen in surveillance images of the robberies. Johnson had been out on parole after serving 10 years for aggravated manslaughter charges related to another armed robbery. We're going to have a lot more on this story coming up at 6 o'clock. Well, President Trump's impeachment trial could be wrapping up. Republicans reportedly may now have the votes to block witnesses in the Senate trial. Now, without witnesses, a vote on whether to convict or acquit the president could happen as soon as tomorrow. The latest counts show only 3 Republican senators are prepared to side with Democrats in favor of witnesses, and that would lead to an exact 50-50 tie. Chief Justice John Roberts, who is presiding over this trial, has indicated he will not weigh in to break that tie, so the measure would fail. Well, some big news now for H&M fans, something a little lighter. The Swedish clothing company is unveiling a new concept at Beechwood Place called H&M Home. This line first opened standalone stores in London in late 2018. Now, the current H&M space there will expand to more than 24,000 square feet and offer modern home goods for every room in the house at the price points you expect from its clothing stores. And it's due to open later this year. It is some exciting news for the mall, Jay and Betsy, which of course has seen its share of issues and closures of various stores and restaurants there. Beechwood Place is getting several other new stores next year, including a Carter's, the children's store, and a Baja Bistro, which will come later this year.
It is rare. I mean, you don't hear much good news on the retail front.
Right.
So that's
Especially
good.
with the malls.
It's exciting.
All right.
Definitely good. Thanks,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
See you at 6.
Well, you may have noticed a little wardrobe change is taking
I did.
place here. Yes, everybody's going, what is she doing now? Well, there's a story behind this. Now on your feed at 5, a big concern here at home is the flu. This week, it closed 2 schools. Westerly Elementary School in Bay Village is closed today and tomorrow, and St. Augustine in Barberton closed on Wednesday.
Wow.
Now, if you're like me, life's happened, and I just haven't gotten my flu shot yet. Everybody here yelled at me and hollered and started to throw a fit. And so they said, guess what? We're just going to give you a flu shot live on the air.
Bring the flu shot to you.
Fantastic. So that's the wardrobe change. I literally had to slide out of half of my dress. So this is the best we could come up with on short notice. But Dr. Kristen England is here. Brian Holbrook is helping us as well. He's the one that's going to be doing the shot. I'm going to hold your hand.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm here for support, Betsy. I'm here for support.
I don't like needles so much. But okay, here's the thing.
Yes.
This is an easy thing everybody can do, and it actually does help people.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you for getting your shot.
Yes.
We really
Yes.
appreciate that.
And you can do it in 10 minutes.
And the whole community appreciates that. It's not
No.
just for your health.
Feel free to fire it up. I'm
It's
ready.
for everybody around you, because we want to make sure that we're keeping our whole community healthy.
Good thoughts, Bets.
And it happens
Good thoughts.
with you.
Okay.
Good thoughts.
And how well does this protect you from the flu?
So on average, it protects about 40 to 60% of the time. However, if you
Squeeze.
do get the flu, you're going to have a less difficult time with the flu. So you'll be able to heal much more quickly from it if you've gotten the vaccine. And also, more importantly, you're going to be much less likely to transmit it to somebody else.
And that's really the key. Yeah, that is the key.
If you choose not to do it for yourself, which you obviously did, but we want to make sure that we're protecting our grandparents and right now, especially our children.
Yeah.
This flu season has been particularly bad for children.
Elderly and young are always more susceptible.
Absolutely.
How quickly, before we let you go, how has this year's flu compared to last year and past years?
So when we talk about numbers looking at the coronavirus, we really need to put this into perspective. Last flu season, 34,000 people in the United States died.
Oh, my word.
The season before, 61,000 people died in the United States.
So nearly 100,000 people in the U.S. have died in the last 2 years from the flu?
From the flu. So I really think we need to put all of this in perspective and understand that we need to be paying a lot of attention to the flu that's in front of us right now.
Oh, I feel so much better now.
And
Okay.
it really does drive home the importance of this. 100,000 people in 2 years.
That's, And I have elderly and little kids, so let's
thank
get that done.
Thank you very
so
much, guys.
Thank you. It was
Thank you very
awesome. It
much.
didn't hurt very much at all. Like, it was just a little pinch.
Just for a second.
Having children, much easier.
I would think. All right, next on Your Feet at 5, this story is absolutely crazy. The Ohio Supreme Court will hear a case out of Lorain County. Here's the details of the case. In 2016, a probate judge told two men they could not father any more children while they're on probation for not paying child support. One of the men is London Chapman. His attorney told us he's fathered 13 children. The other defendant in the case, Lee Anderson, has fathered 9 children. The two men appealed the original ruling. That verdict was then overturned in 2018. Prosecutors then appealed to the state Supreme Court, which has now decided to hear the case. At the time of the original ruling, which was a couple of years ago, Chapman was more than $200,000 behind in his child support for 11 of his 13 kids. This is a drastic move to order that that these men can no longer father children. What do you make of it?
Well, the one man who has the 13 children, they said that he could no longer father children while he's on probation.
Right, exactly.
And that's a window. So they're not saying forever and ever, you're done. They're just basically saying for this period of time.
Right. It's a stipulation of his probation.
There's so much focus on women's reproductive rights, and I think this now brings to the forefront the legality of men's reproductive rights. And I think it's a great topic of conversation, but here's the thing. When it comes to the law, now there's not so much the, boy, I wish, he would blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. You have to stick to the law. So the Supreme Court actually took this. They don't take many cases every year. So the fact that this has made it to the Ohio Supreme Court is very significant.
And a lot of people will be watching this very closely.
It definitely
could
will.
have huge implications.
Yep. All right. Well, the Knicks forward Marcus Morris is in a bit of hot water. He got into an on-court scuffle with another Grizzlies player, Jay Crowder, during the game yesterday. But it was his comments after the game that has a lot of people upset. Some are saying it's misogynistic.
I don't think it's a build-up, man. I think dude is just, he played the game a different way. Like, he just a lot of female tendencies on the court, flopping and throwing his head back the entire game. And like I said, man, it's a man's game, and you just get tired of it, man. And then obviously at the end.
So he's right on one thing. It is a man's game, the NBA. But wow. Yeah, when he said he plays the game with a lot of female tendencies. Now, he initially made these comments, didn't back off of them in the locker room. But of course, then he checked his phone and saw he was trending on Twitter for the wrong reason. He immediately issued an apology, saying that I apologize for using the term female tendencies. I have the utmost respect for women and everything they mean to us. It was a heat of the moment response. I never intended for any women to feel as though in any way I'm disrespecting them. Again, I apologize with my comments. Can't do that, Marcus. Can't say stuff like that. Not smart.
Yeah. Any female who's ever played basketball is significantly upset with that statement. And any parent of any woman who has played basketball, young or old, is significantly upset with that as well.
And they should be. They definitely should be. All right, next on What's New, Stephanie Haney is going to tell us what's clicking in Cleveland. Good day, Stephanie.
Hello, Jay. Hello, Betsy. Good news for everybody that's hungry out there. There's a place in town where you can get dinner for free tonight. And it might feel like we're stuck in the middle of winter because we are, but the surest sign that spring is on its way is right around the corner, and it involves our Cleveland Indians.
All right, thank you. I can't wait. Tribe Fest coming up this weekend. Can't wait to get connected with them again, certainly. And as far as what else is going on, Monica Robbins is going to tell us part of her story about her brain surgery she had in October. We're really excited to catch up with some of those details. And our own Matt Wentz, he's been keeping an eye on what's happening on the roads. Uh-oh, we have a red box. That's bad.
Here's the good news. I think this got cleaned up because traffic has significantly improved over the last couple of minutes. But 77 northbound as you're approaching the closed 490 interchange there. We've got some slowdowns. Other slowdowns, Route 8, as you're heading south into that construction zone that's been going for way too long. As you head south, we've got some slowdowns there. And then the biggest slowdowns that we have, accident reported, Warrensville Center Road area westbound on 480. Traffic typically backs up there. It's a little bit more backed up as you get towards the Valley View Bridge and approach 77. We'll be back with a chat of that weather forecast coming up.
Welcome back to What's New. Time for Clicking in Cleveland. Earlier this week, Stephanie Haney, Cleveland was in the national spotlight in a very favorable way. The Bachelor did a whole show where they came to Cleveland, and it came off looking beautiful. Last night, not so much. What happened?
We're going to get to that in just a minute. Before we give you that news, I want to tell you about the first sign that spring is on its way, because I'm certainly looking forward to it, and it's right around the corner, and it involves the Cleveland Indians getting all packed up to head to spring training.
Yay.
Yes, the team was packing up its equipment to get on the way to Goodyear Ballpark. That's in Goodyear, Arizona, in case you didn't know. The pitchers and the catchers will get there first. That's in less than 2 weeks, and then everyone else will get there the day after Valentine's Day. So they're there through the middle of March, and then we can look forward to the home opener against the Detroit Tigers on March 26th, and hopefully it's not snowing. All right, now to that news about Cleveland in the headlines. Yes, Jimmy Fallon had some jokes for us. He was teasing everybody here in the land a little bit in his monologue after the ladies of The Bachelor came here to Cleveland. Here's what he said.
And the girls were pretty surprised when Chris Harrison told them they were going on a group date to Cleveland. At first, they were like, this isn't a romantic date, this is a layover. And they played football in the Browns Stadium. Afterwards, half the girls got roses from Peter and the rest got contracts from the Browns. So.
Oh, okay, that last one was actually funny, but Flyover City, it's just rude, Jimmy. All right, if you are hungry tonight, good news for you. Denny's is handing out a free meal if you're into meat alternatives. They're freshening up their menu and they are adding the Beyond Burger. So this is a plant-based alternative to beef burgers. It's at every single Denny's tonight until 10 p.m. All you have to do is buy a drink and you can try the Beyond Burger, which I highly recommend.
I know where we're going for dinner.
Right, that's right. That's where I'm having my dinner. There's a bunch of Denny's right around Cleveland.
If it's for free, it's for me. I'll try anything.
I like your attitude.
Steph, I did some digging. It's called the Browns, and I cannot confirm that they've signed any of the women that were on The Bachelor the other night.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen those girls play?
I did. I watched it.
I think we could do worse.
Savage.
I think we have done worse.
Some of them were hitters.
We don't want that, certainly.
No.
All right. We have just clouds outside. Occasionally you run into a few snowflakes.
Yeah, a couple little flurries.
And I popped up the radar and I'm like, trying to see what? Where is it? You could barely even see it. It's just this gross weather that we have going.
It's interesting out over the lake right now. I'll show the radar. You can actually pick it up on our radar if you really turn up the intensity a little bit, but it's just a little pocket that's just swirling, almost like midges out on the lake right now, the way it's kind of set up. But we said earlier this week, Mother Nature really needs to get moving, needs to take a little X-lax. That's going to happen this week.
Come on, girl.
But I need a weather word first.
You do.
Do you guys have one?
Will Ewick is getting a tattoo live on our program coming up.
Okay.
So your weather word is tattoo.
Tattoo.
See what you can do with that, Matt
okay.
Wins.
All right. We'll see. Then we'll also try to give an accurate forecast on top of that. Jeez. The demands around here.
It's so tough.
It's a tough life we live in here. All right. First thing we want to start out, if you joined me last night, I was talking about the positive news in Cleveland with the gaining daylight, the temps, all that stuff. Here's another little bit of positivity to kind of settle your winter blues that we have here. It could be a lot worse. Last year today, our high was 8 degrees. The low was -3. Tomorrow last year was 8 degrees. Low was -2, and it felt more like -30 or 40 at times. That, as you remember, was the polar vortex descending on us. That was a year ago today and tomorrow. So it could be worse. We'll take the clouds, right? And look at this little feature out over the lake. Just some flurries kind of meandering their way around. When you don't have a lot of movement to the atmosphere, you have a very stagnant air mass in place. You get stuff like this. Stuff just kind of floats around with no really rhyme or reason to that. And that will continue overnight tonight. Again, these models continue to clear us out. Not going to be the case overnight tonight. We're going to remain cloudy. Temperatures settling back into the 20s, much like we had over the last 24 hours. So let's take you hour by hour. Things starting to get moving as we go through the daytime tomorrow. The thick clouds that we have, I think, will start to slowly move as we go throughout the afternoon. As we get a weak little disturbance out of the south, this will push an area of some snow showers in tomorrow afternoon. This is not going to accumulate too much, but don't be surprised if you see some snow flurries as we get a little wave of energy throughout the area. And then as we go into that, we're talking about Saturday's storm system. This system really doesn't look like much. I think it'll swing south and kind of tattoo the area with some rain or snow. And then, do you like that?
Well done.
Hey now.
Well done, Matt.
But anyway, not a whole lot going on this weekend. Your 7-day forecast. After we show you the weekend forecast, a little rain, snow Saturday. Sunday not looking too bad as we warm up to 50 degrees. That's out ahead of that advertised next system. That is really, could be a doozy around here. We'll detail that more in the next half hour, guys.
All right, that darn groundhog.
Yeah, you're not a fan. I learned that yesterday.
Yeah.
Russ said if you want to get on Betsy's good side, ask her about the groundhog.
You know the other way to get me on your good side?
No.
Pull me up on stage and let me sing with you. That's what that girl did Friday night. Monica Robbins had her first concert back. I'm calling it a concert because that's what it was. Keep in mind, in October, Monica had a brain tumor removed. And Friday night was significant. You can see they packed the house over there in Cam's Corner because Monica hit the stage once again.
Good to see.
So exciting.
We knew it was on my carotid. We knew it was on my optic nerve. They didn't realize until they got in that it was also on the back of my left eye, but that wasn't a huge surprise. The surprise was the significant amount that was in my skull. And they had to drill and drill to get that out. And that was the majority of the surgery, was a lot of time. And then they told me that I wore out 2 6mm drill bits. They explained to me the size of my tumor. Mine was more like the thickness of the white part of a coconut, and it was the size of a pancake.
Wow.
Yeah, this information came out. Now, every time, okay, Monica walks in the newsroom and the first thing she says is, I wore out two 6-millimeter drill bits. Like, literally, this is a mark of pride now for my girl who
she's
has
tough.
3 titanium plates in your head as
A
well.
metal head.
Yes, you definitely are.
Official.
And you're describing that as scaffolding.
Yeah, that it seemed like the appropriate thing to do. It's like putting the titanium plates in is like scaffolding, and then my body is like the construction workers, and they put the scar tissue in, which is like the concrete or the drywall, and that's what replaced the bone I lost.
You got little people in there working.
I got little people in there working, yeah.
When you came back, we had a conversation, and the thing that jumps out to me is you have an incredible sense of humor about this.
Oh, a very,
and I told you
very...
the way you told your bosses
Yeah.
was humorous. What did you do?
Like 5 minutes after I got the phone call that I had a brain tumor, I told Adam and John that we need to have a station contest to name it. And
Monica.
Yeah, I know.
No,
and then I
this
said,
is how she deals though.
Then I said I'm probably going to need an eye patch, and we were getting the new logo, and I said, hey, we could put the new logo on my eye patch, and they looked at me horrified, like most people would. I know it's probably inappropriate for most of you, but
that's how you deal with it.
You know what? I told them, hey, if we don't laugh about this, I'm not going to survive it, and that's how
we have been keeping up with your story the whole time, but now we get your side of the story, and we're excited to continue to bring you more of that tonight at 6
and 11.
On What Matters Most, and also at What's Next at 11.
Yep.
Will Hewitt gets a tattoo live on What's New next.
How come they didn't ask me to do
Lots
that?
of needles.
Welcome back to What's New. We've got a lot planned for you coming up in the next 30 minutes.
Yep.
We want to go back and revisit the story that we led off the program with. We're going to do that in just a second. But first, I want to talk to you about technology. Technology, Betsy, as you know, has revolutionized every facet of our life. I can't really think of a part of my life that hasn't been made better because of technology. And the goal is pretty easy. Make things easier and faster.
Definitely. We all like that. And Will Hewitt likes it too, because he is going to take a closer look at how it's affecting the industry of body art.
It's an art form that dates back thousands of years.
All right, I'm the black line. No.
But like everything else,
It's a tattoo pen. This is the future.
advancements in applied science is showing up on our skin.
When I started tattooing, I mean, you basically were tattooing with a doorbell, essentially. The quality of the machines are better, the pigments are better, and now they have batteries for tattooing. You can just tattoo completely wireless.
We have cartridge-based systems for our needles now, and again, this stuff is all one-time use disposable stuff. So overall, I mean, it's a better experience nowadays and even than 5 years ago for not only just the tattooer, but the client as well.
In addition to being more convenient and more sterile,
I love you.
technology has brought along tattoos that don't just represent a message,
Douglas, I love you to the moon and back.
but that actually speak for themselves.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool, huh? The Soundwave Tattoo is basically a tattoo that you can look at with your phone and it will play an audio file. They'll send that to the company. The company will turn that into a visual file that I then use as a stencil.
It works kind of like a QR code reader. The drawback here is a yearly cost to keep it active in the app. And moving forward, tattoos are bound to continue to evolve. Research is already being done on bio-wearables that can collect information about heart rate, body temp, and more, or ink that changes color based on glucose levels in your blood.
Who knows where it can go, right to things where the tattoo itself appears to change, you know, all done through virtual reality through your phone.
Year by year, technology is finding new ways to leave its mark.
It'll always be ever-changing.
On our bodies.
Definitely, technology is going to keep coming into this industry.
Now, only because he has to one-up us all the time, Will Uick is now live at Square City Tattoo in Chardon. And boy, he's laying there, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Will, what are you adding to your already impressive collection
today, Betsy? So I didn't mean to one-up you. I thought the flu shot was yesterday. But you know, it's funny though, because here's the thing: we talk about tattoos, and in the package, we talk about them getting cleaner and more futuristic, but they've also gotten a lot easier. If you've never gotten one or think about the process now with texting, even tattoo artist Mike here working on me, and Mike, this is a process where I just kind of send you some pictures, tell you what I'm thinking. You're able to use some of that, put it all together, where before it didn't work that way.
No, I mean, now I can do a lot of stuff over the internet, and like how you did, you sent me some pictures of what you're interested in, and I took all the different elements and details that you wanted, and we combined that and made one finished picture.
Look at that.
And I don't plan on getting rid of this, guys, but technology is also a reader said into tattoo removal. We're going to talk a little bit about that coming up in a little bit.
All right, very good. There is a great story behind the tattoo that Will's getting.
Okay.
And we'll get that when Will rejoins us in the next half hour.
Catch up. He can tell us if it hurts and all that good stuff, too.
It's a cool story.
Yeah, we'll have an update on the Wuhan virus and the coronavirus here in Northeast Ohio straight ahead.
Okay, Adam's coming to the control room. I think for that soundbite again. You may want to get that ready.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New with Betsy Kling and Jay Crawford.
Welcome back, everybody, to What's New here at 5:30. We have a lot for you coming up in the next half hour. We're going to check back in with Will Uick about new technology for tattoo removal. And also yesterday, I talked about the show Live PD. Big fan. You talked about that.
I'm a huge fan. And today I caught up with a pair of officers that were featured nationally on the show last night. They actually saved a woman's life. It was all caught on tape. We'll show it to you. Plus, Popeyes is trolling Queen Bee. We're going to fill in the blanks on that feud. But first, more on our exclusive breaking news that we shared with you at the top of the hour. This is a fairly large story, and it really is about one of the largest stories going on worldwide right now. WKYC has exclusively learned that a man who has been diagnosed with the coronavirus has traveled here to Cleveland. It was sometime within the last week. We can't confirm exactly when, but it was recently.
That's right, and this is now also being confirmed by the Ohio Department of Health, among other sources that have confirmed that he was here in Cleveland as part of a business trip within the last 7 days. He got the virus through very close contact. He lives in Chicago. His wife, who lives with him in Chicago, had traveled to Wuhan, China, and then returned to the U.S. in mid-January. She carried the virus and transmitted it to him. Again, they live in Chicago, but he traveled to Cleveland within the last 7 days. Now, here's the thing to remember. Deep breath, everybody. We don't have any reason to believe that he had symptoms or spread it to anyone else.
It's a lot we don't know right now. A couple of things that I can tell you that we do know. This transmission, this latest infection, is number 6 in the U.S. It's the first human-to-human transmission of the virus in the United States. Worldwide, over 8,200 people have been diagnosed with the disease, also, or with the virus. Also today, the World Health Organization declared the coronavirus a global health emergency. What that means essentially is the director of the WHO can now make decisions in terms of travel bans, also travel screenings at international airports, and also, and this is key, it more than likely will increase public dollars that are made available in the research and the actual treatment of the coronavirus. One thing that we were tipped off to earlier today at 2 o'clock our time, 1 o'clock Chicago time, an Illinois health official called a news conference. And the very first question in that news conference was, can you confirm a report that the most recent patient traveled recently to Cleveland? Listen carefully to the answer.
Was he put in isolation? And can you confirm if he took a flight to Cleveland as recently as this week? Has he been going to work?
So I can confirm that the patient was placed into isolation on the day that he developed symptoms, in line with CDC guidance.
When was that?
That was 2 days ago.
Okay, that seems like a non-answer.
That does.
A specific non-answer.
But keep in mind, so what she's saying is that 2 days ago, he was isolated in Chicago.
Sure.
Previous to that, he was here.
He was.
So this is all being confirmed, and everybody's doing their due diligence on this. But again, we have just had it confirmed by the Ohio Health Department to us here at WKYC that this is indeed the case. And obviously, we are going to keep a very close eye on this. The newsroom is busy right now.
They are.
Getting more on this and the coronavirus patient who visited Cleveland. And we'll have more for you on what matters most at 6.
All right, we move on. Our top talker this half hour. You ever watch the show Live PD?
I've heard of it. I haven't had time to sit and watch.
You weren't here yesterday. I had said it's sort of become my guilty pleasure because it's one of those shows. It's like Cops, but it's 3 hours and it's live. And there's 12 jurisdictions all over the country. Cameras are following the police officers live. Well, last night on PD Cam, which is basically a boiled down version, the highlight show, if you will, they featured Streetsboro police who actually, in this crazy rescue, saved a woman's life. It aired last night on A&E. I caught up with the two officers earlier today. Here's that story.
I saw that there was somebody out next to the car floating in the water, and I started running towards the water. As soon as I got down here, I notified Sergeant Savada that, I was not going to have my radio on, took my vest off, and started making my way in the water.
It was unbelievable. You take your vest off, which has your camera on it, and miraculously, your belt and camera are aimed exactly where the car is.
It was just kind of coincidence, just kind of pure luck, I guess, that it, caught the whole thing.
you get to the woman in the car, how long does it take you to figure out that it's not an elderly woman, that it's a woman that's attempting suicide?
Matt was out there prior to me getting out there. Like I said, we got there, I got my stuff off, I swam out there, and I could hear her yelling, "I want to die."
What are you thinking at that point, Matt?
At that point, I was just thinking we need to get her out of the car. When I first got out there, she just sat there with her, just holding her purse and staring at me. Until I tried to break the back window, that's when she started screaming, "Stop, just let me die." Jason started making his way out there, and it was, we tried everything. I tried breaking the driver window. He was climbing up on top of the hood, making his way, onto the windshield because he saw that the whole moonroof was open. And I broke the window, and he was already up on the windshield trying to pull her out, and I climbed up, and we started pulling her out, and she was fighting us the whole way.
Was there a point where you thought to yourself, we're not going to get her out, she doesn't want to come out?
I don't think there was. We were doing the best we could to get her out, and we were determined to get her out and get her back to shore and get her the help she needed.
And Matt wanted to stress that. What we're most concerned with is this woman getting the help that she needs. Crazy rescue, really was. Okay, still to come on What's New. When it's too nasty for the kiddos to play outside, how do we keep them happy inside? It's an age-old question.
Shush.
The Science Center is here with some great ideas.
Thank goodness. And speaking of that, Matt, it's gross outside.
Yeah, back to you. It certainly is. Thanks, Betsy. It gets grosser next week. An early look at next week's storm system could bring us some rain, turning over to some wintry mix, maybe a little bit of snow. We'll break down the latest details on this and talk about what's new coming up in your forecast.
Well, it has been cloudy outside again, and we've had some snow showers again.
I think Matt invented his own weather word, gross.
Gross. It fits.
I feel like I'm about 30 seconds away from just breaking down in tears with this weather.
It's going to get better, I promise.
Need a hug, I know. It's just
You said you had some sunshine coming, though.
I wish I did. I have a couple winter storms coming.
Come on.
No, we've got some sunshine, over the next week or so. A couple days are going to warm up next week as well, as you'll see here in the forecast. So we'll talk warm up that starts Sunday and goes through Monday at this point, and then that's out ahead of our next weather system, which will bring us perhaps a wintry mix next week. So tonight we're stuck with the clouds. The clouds are locked in. It's not just us. It's all over the eastern half of the country. Just a low stratus layer of clouds. But over the weekend, we've got a couple things going on. East Coast storm that's going to develop out of that Gulf Coast moisture. This is our Saturday system now, just approaching areas near Vancouver. This will kind of cream the northern tier of the United States and bring us a little rain, snow Saturday. But really, that weekend system looks less impressive than it did yesterday. So tomorrow, we've got a little bit of snow that'll fall across the areas we go throughout the afternoon. A little wave of energy. Here's your weekend storm sliding in from the north. Just a little rain, snow, as I mentioned. That should be out of here quickly. Sunday looks dry, and we begin the warm up that leads to next weekend's weather, or next week's weather system as it looks right now. So a little rain, snow Saturday if you're making weekend plans. Not a terrible day, but you might have to dodge some moisture and then becoming partly sunny. Look at that. We've upped our temperature to 50 on Sunday. Very impressive warmth coming in there out ahead of this system. So how is this going to behave? Well, the latest model trends a little bit further north with this. So we're talking rain by Tuesday, maybe Monday night. It will be warm out ahead of it. Cold air is still working into this system. So that eventually, as we go into Wednesday, will change that rain over to perhaps a wintry mix. And this is a complicated storm. We may have another wave beyond that, but all things pointing towards a colder finish to next week with perhaps kind of a tricky in-between. So this is the way it looks on your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. 37 tomorrow, a couple snowflakes from time to time, especially during the afternoon. 40 on Saturday. There's your Groundhog Day. May see a shadow in the morning. Better chance in the afternoon, though, if perhaps he sleeps in. And then we're talking 56 on Monday with rain arriving Tuesday, changing over to wintry mix as we go on into that.
I'm helping Jay.
Wardrobe malfunction over here, Matt.
Jay, do you have pants on yet?
No, I'm getting my science schmuck on. Schmuck. Is that what these are called?
Yes, and a lab coat. You got to put your glasses on.
Oh, I do?
They're right there. I gave you the pink ones.
Okay, cool. Groovy.
Aren't these nice?
Oh my gosh.
So Robin Kaltenbach from the Great Lakes Science Center joins us. You are amazing because you help children stay busy and learn with fun things at the same time. So, dreary winter days we have going on now, you are here to help us with some fun science stuff.
That's right. So we're always up to lots of new activities at the Science Center. We're cooking up something all the time to keep kids excited about science, but to realize how much they can do science in their own home. So we're going to start off with one of the newest activities that we have, and this is pH secret messages.
All right.
So you're going to make a mixture of baking soda and water.
Is it thin mixture?
Yeah, it's a fairly thin. It's about 50 parts each. Mix it up, and then you can write a secret message on a piece of paper.
Everybody has baking soda and water.
Of course, and that's what I was thinking
and
about.
we shouldn't look what she writes. We should be surprised when you reveal it. Okay, yeah. I'm not looking, Betsy. I'm not looking.
Okay. This is a throwback.
All right, so that's going to dry, and obviously at home you can use a hair dryer or find another way to dry it. I thought it would be really fun to write secret messages and go on a science scavenger hunt. So write a clue, let it dry, give it to the kids, let them reveal the secret message, and then go and find something in their house.
How do you reveal it?
So you reveal it using chemistry. In fact, in this container, I have spared you the smell because fair warning, if you make this at home, it can get a little bit smelly. So this is a red cabbage juice solution.
All right.
So you buy red cabbage, you blend up the leaves in the blender. It makes this really lovely purple. You'll want to filter out the leaves and debris, and then you simply paint it on the secret message and something
You could
will be
probably
revealed.
see what this is here. There you go.
Oh, that's my graffiti.
It's your graffiti name.
Graffiti
Jay.
name. J-A-E.
That's awesome.
Okay, now we have about a minute.
Yeah, we're
and I'm really pumped about how we make a lava lamp at home. Show us.
So when you mix chemicals, you're going to see different things happen. So I mixed purple, and that's what is happening here. There's something in here called anthocyanin. And when you mix chemicals, usually they blend together, but we are exploring density. So what you're going to do, Jay, is you're going to make your own lava lamp. Again, with ingredients that you have at home. So you're going to pour a little bit of water or some vegetable oil in there.
This is a cool one. You'll like this.
It is so cool.
Vegetable oil.
Vegetable oil, and then some water. You can pick
and that's going to just float on the top, right?
Let's find out.
Eventually it'll separate?
Or mix.
And that's what we ask the kids is, what do you think will happen if you pour vegetable oil and water? And a lot of times they think, oh, they're going to mix together. So let's add a little food coloring.
Okay.
And what we notice is that the water and the vegetable oil don't mix because vegetable oil is hydrophobic. It fears water, and we need to add chemicals in order to get them to bond together. food coloring is water-based, so it doesn't mix with the oil as well.
And that's our lava lamp.
Goodness. And you can do this in a drinking glass.
You can
These
do
are totally cool.
anything you want to. So
oh my gosh.
I've had one pre-made here, and all you have to do is add another ingredient to it. We're going to add some Alka-Seltzer. We'll notice that Alka-Seltzer, when it mixes with the water,
and there it is.
Oh my gosh. Well, have fun with this with your kids. I mean, the Great Lakes Science Center, always an option, but you can do this stuff at home. It's so great. Robin Kaltenbach, thank you.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. Our website, WKYC.com, it has all the ingredients. It tells you how to do all. Look at that, Betsy. What's new? Bringing you what's new in lava lamps. That's what it's all about.
We'll be right back.
Look at that.
Wow.
And now,
Well, last time we checked in with Will, he was talking about how technology is changing the tattoo business and also showing us the process of getting a tattoo. He's literally getting one.
He's adding to his collection.
Yes.
What we're going to do now is head back to Square City Tattoo in Chardon. We want to catch up with Will, who's on his back getting inked up some more. Will, I love the story behind this new tattoo. You want to share it with us?
Thank you. Yeah, it's always a process for me. I have multiple tattoos on coming up with something special. I don't want to just get anything. This is a pocket watch. I'm really into watches, and the time and date on the watch are the time and date that my daughter was born a couple of years ago. So that way it's kind of on there forever. I thought that was kind of cool. And Mike liked it too. And this is obviously something that I never plan on getting rid of, but the fact is, a lot of people do get tattoos removed. Mike, you gave me the best advice, though, what you tell people, you get the tattoo you deserve.
Yeah.
Clarify that a little bit.
Well, that's an old-timer saying. That's old Bert Grimm came up with that one. And yeah, you do get the tattoo you deserve. If you're willing to put in the time and effort to find the artist that you like and put together, like you did, how you had a specific concept and put it together, you put some research and time into it, or there's people who, you know, will just go and get something on a whim. And if you get something on a whim and you're just sort of throwing darts at the board, you're more likely to regret your decision or not really want that tattoo after you sober up.
Well, and the good news is for the people that got it maybe in their cousin's basement when they were 16 or got it on a whim, technology is making the removal process a lot easier as well.
body art is a $1.4 billion industry and growing. But as more and more people are inking up,
the removal process has gotten a lot better over the past year, 5 years, decades.
Others are looking for an eraser.
In the past, tattoo removal was a really complicated and messy process.
What used to take twice the amount of sessions and painful chemical peels and dermabrasions to remove layers of skin,
it created blisters and scarring, and it didn't do much better than just having a bad tattoo.
Have now advanced into laser removal.
But the laser technology that's come out over the past 20 or 30 years has really become a really beautiful, beautiful modality for removing tattoos.
The process involves a powerful laser that uses quick bursts of light to break up the pigment colors into smaller particles that white blood cells come in and clear away. It's done in about half the time as traditional methods, usually taking about 6 to 8 sessions and with less pain than the actual tattoo itself.
The new lasers that are out now offer treatments that last for just a picosecond, so one tiny, tiny fraction of a second that vaporizes that tattoo ink and leaves you with a nice, clean, healthy-looking skin afterwards.
But even as we speak, more advancements are in the works. One already with another light at the end of the laser, promising tattoo removal in just one sitting.
So the next frontier is the femtosecond laser, which is coming out hopefully soon, to remove your tattoo in just one treatment.
So there you go, tattoo removal in just one sitting on the horizon. Mike, give us an update here. I can't really see. How's this thing coming and what are you doing right now?
Well, so far we've got all the line work in, and now what I'm doing is I'm just going through and a little at a time we're shading this out and giving it some 3D dimension, making it look a little bit more lifelike. Basically, I'm sort of copying the picture that we came up with and I put together on Photoshop.
Art
Awesome,
of perfection,
Will.
guys.
Will,
It
it looks
looks
great.
good. We'll tell you.
It says 3:30. Your
Yeah.
daughter was born at 3:30, and it looks great.
You're such a
Good thing the
jerk.
removals are coming in quick, right?
Right? Well, thanks so much. Well, did it
We
hurt,
can
by the
change
way?
the
Does it
time.
hurt while you're doing that? Just quick?
I told him I thought the interesting thing is it's actually gotten less painful since my last one.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
But we don't know when people.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8.
Hello. We begin with breaking news. There's now a Cleveland connection to the coronavirus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
We're going to follow that.
Yes, I do.
All right.
Mike check, Monica. We do not know or have reason to believe the man was symptomatic.
All right, quickly back to Will for one last look at his tattoo. take a look, see how it's coming along.
Give me a percentage.
I'd say we're about 75%.
Nice.
75%
Somewhere
there.
around there,
Awesome.
70,
So
75%.
I'll tweet out a picture when it's completely done before it gets all wrapped up.
All right, very
I'm
good.
impressed. I was
Very
making
cool
the
idea,
biggest
too.
fuss over the
75%,
flu
I'd
shot
say. We're
that I
almost
got.
there.
Thank you, Jay, again, for holding my hand through that.
Glad to
and
help.
Monica came in and said, oh, well, they brought the baby size needle. So now I got like a baby
doing
size
great.
needle, but with the, anyway, I'm a big baby.
We'll see you tomorrow. What Matters Most starts now.
Tonight, a 3 News exclusive. We now know that one of the patients who contracted the coronavirus from another person traveled to Cleveland in the last 10 days. We'll have details, context, and perspective coming up. Also, communities relieved. How police caught up with an armed robber who'd been terrorizing Northeast Ohio businesses. Impeachment vote. Why we could know whether the president will be convicted or acquitted before the weekend. And road to recovery. Our own Monica Robbins opens up about her brain tumor surgery and how she's getting her life back, piece by piece.